I describe myself as an etiologist,
Okay.
and an etiologist is someone who studies cause and effect. Because I like to study first principles.
All right.
Because if you can understand first principles, basically, I move towards first principles and then second, third, and fourth order consequence. If you can
Okay.
understand those things, you make better decisions. Most people do not understand what one a first principle is and ignore second, third, and fourth order consequence. But if you can be disciplined enough to say, okay, what's causing that, right? I say all the time is your job as a leader isn't to solve problems. And it's funny, I interview all my leaders when I work with them. So I've interviewed probably, I don't know, 100, 150 of them over the last 10 years that I work with. And I say, what sort of gets your juices flowing? What do you love doing? And I would say 60 to 70% say solve problems. And then I sort of store that away. And then when I meet with them the first time, I just want you to know, I say, I read all these things, et cetera. And most of you love to solve problems. And I said, I'm going to disappoint you.
No.
Your job is not to solve problems. And like, what do you mean? I said, your job is to avoid problems.
Ooh, interesting.
Don't solve them. Yes, if you have to solve them immediately, but don't just walk away, then say, what caused that? What could have been the reasons that led up to that happening? I said, if you keep going back and saying, what's the problem that caused that problem? And you keep doing that, you'll get to the root. And once you solve the root, all those other problems go away. Because if you don't solve the root, you will be solving the same problem in
Mhm.
different forms over and over and over again, which is not a good use of your time. But it feels good to solve a problem. I like to say that that's a mink hole. Do you know
Yeah.
what a mink hole is, Cameron?
No, I do not.
Mink hole is a rat hole that feels really good.
Okay. So kind of like mink being the fur
Yeah,
coat
you're in
fabric
there,
type
feels
thing.
good, but it's
Gotcha.
still a rat hole. It's just
All right.
messing with your
That's
head.
interesting. Okay. Oof, man, I could go on for days about rabbit holes I love going down. The title
No
of my
pun intended.
podcast is fully indicative of my entire personality and worldview. I started it, and the whole intention here is just because I can't stop asking questions. A rabbit hole is my favorite place to live, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna
Yep,
have to get some mink lining in some of my rabbit holes.
there you go.
Um, all right. So when we are considering, I guess, as a leader, if you're not solving problems, you're preventing problems. And we're talking about that in the context of your first principles with second, third, fourth order consequences. So the problems that are popping up could be the fourth order consequence. And there's no way for you to know that immediately without doing some investigation, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we
Sure.
got to go down those mink holes to find whatever the first principle, the root cause is, and then figure out how to address that. Do you have tools or frameworks that help identify if you're on the first, second, third, or fourth order consequence?
Yeah, so I have processes that I can have you go through that then sort of walk you backwards. And they're very straightforward. And then I say there are certain things like the 5C, right? The 5C is moving towards a first principle model. Now, how good you are at it will probably change as you get better at it and you analyze and rework what you do. You'll get better and better and better at the 5Cs, and you'll be solving and you'll be making fewer and fewer decisions. So for instance, one of the things I say is and I would recommend you do this or your wife do this in a week or whatever time frame. Write down every decision you make. Don't think about them. Just write them down. Right. I made the decision. We decided to go with this client. We decided to go with this defense or whatever. Just write it down. And then at the end of the week, look at it and say, which of these decisions did I absolutely have to make? No one else in the business could have made this decision. And
Uh-huh.
if you have 100 of them, my guess is there'll be like three. Now, your job is to figure out, how do I not make those other decisions? How do I either teach someone else to do it, stop doing it? I have another exercise where I do it's, there's two aspects to it, but the main one is love and loathe, right? If you go through the day, similar thing. When you walk through the day, have your love and loathe list, and those things that you love doing give you energy. You can't wait to do it again, etc. Write it down on the love list. Loathe is the exact opposite. You're doing it for 5 minutes, it feels like an hour. You just put
Yes,
it off and whatever. Write that list. Now, my guess is the list of the loathe is way longer than the list of the love.
undoubtedly.
Now take your loathe list and do four things. One is, what on here can I automate, like you just said in your example earlier? What can I delegate? What can I eliminate? And what can I procrastinate on? So if I just
I like
didn't
the
do it,
last two.
yeah, right? If you procrastinate and nothing happens, then eliminate it. But if it does happen, then either you have to decide, okay, I have to do it, or I have to delegate it or automate it. And your job is to shrink the load list. So then you have a lot more time to focus on the stuff you love, which you're probably great at or getting to be great at, and make a difference to the company. So that's another framework, if you want to call it that. So things like that is what I teach my clients. Here are ways you can do it. Now, when I get to the root, what I do is I have what I call a strategy decision matrix.